I've been holding off on this for quite a bit. I'm sure you can understand why I waited for quite a bit. This is the first part of talking about my second high school relationship. Now, unlike Sif, this one was actually a lot more memorable and likable and just all out better. If I haven't already said that, then I shall say it now. This was like 10 million times better. I guess I'll start off when I first saw her, like the very first time she caught my eye. Now, for all intents and purposes, I'm not going to use her actual name. So, and I already tried, like, I tried so many different names already, and I'd even make up sentences that would be identical to what I would be talking about in these stories. And a lot of the names just, they don't add up. It doesn't feel right. But the one name it all came down to is Kara. We're gonna call her Kara. Now, one time when I was sitting with Sif, because me and Sif were dating during this time, we were sitting at our spot during our lunch, and I see one of my other female friends, and Kara walking together. Because me and Sif were sitting up against a wall, like against a building. There's like a corner that you can turn to like head over towards the main office. And, you know, Kara and my friend come out, and and the first thing I notice are two very important things. One, Kara had a boot. So she had I believe at the time, a sprained ankle. If not, it was damaged and or hurt in a way that, you know, that called for her to wear it, like nearly at all times. But not only that, not notice that she has a boot, but she has a very, very great figure. I'm talking, like, she just has a really great body. I'm not gonna go into detail, but imagine like a fully matured woman, right? And like probably like an inch or two shorter than me. That's what she looked like from a distance, pretty much. And I'm 5'11", to be exact. She was walking with my friend, and and keep in mind, I didn't see her face, or I wasn't able to see her face. So, fast forward, because this was like a month or a few weeks before homecoming during my junior year. Fast forward to homecoming during my junior year. I'm going there with Sif, right? Sif had this, just this very gothic, pretty dress, see-through sleeves and all. And most of the time we either just walked around or we would dance a little bit, but not too much. She wasn't really one for dancing or being too active. Now, and there's like a shed in front of the entrance of the cafeteria at Booker High. I believe there's an image of it that I can probably put on the screen for you. If not, oh well. Now, during I forgot what song it was. And I even have a video of it. I never remember this song's name every time I listen to it. But it was a pretty, dance, like get down and dance type song, like turn up, But I hear this and I look over and there's this big crowd of people making a circle, and all I can think of is there's a dance battle going on. So I go over, I tell Sif I'm gonna be right back, and I go over and everybody's like, the crowd is too thick. I may be tall, but I'm not able to see everything that's going on. There could be break dancing or something and I wouldn't be able to see it. So there was a table near that crowd. Oh god, whew, got the hiccups. So I got up on the table and I get my phone out to record. After I press the record button, I see these, two girls having a dance off. And who do I see that is on the one of the opposing sides? It is ᵗᵒᵐᵃ. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, isn't that the girl that had a boot? First of all, she dances phenomenally. I'm thinking this to myself. She is a great dancer, first of all. And second, ain't your ankle, hurting? How are you able to dance like that? And you need a boot. Apparently. That's what was going through my head. And I was even cheering. I was like, whoa, hey! It was actually really cool. Now, sometime, the week after homecoming, or the week after that week, she started going to my 8th period class. I forgot the name of the subject. It was an English type class, ACE something, but I forgot what it was specifically called. But I had a teacher in there named Mr. Z, or at least that's what students would call him. He was a really cool teacher. He was also the second youngest. There's three, or there was. He doesn't go there anymore. But at that time, there was him, one of my science teachers, and my sophomore biology teacher. They're all in their early 20s. So they're pretty young. So yeah, he was my 8th period teacher. And that's when I started to notice ᵗᵒᵐᵃ started to come to that class more. And that's because she has his class during 7th period. I believe it was... Yeah, it was during 7th period that she had his class. And her 8th period, I forgot which subject it was, but her teacher would give her permission, or she would, get permission to stay in his class during 8th period if she was, caught up, or if she didn't need to be there. Now, this is about the time when me and Kara started communicating verbally. Now, whenever he would teach, he would often get up from his desk and interact with us students. That was more or less his way of teaching. Now, we had a couple other friends in there that were also friends of Kara, like I said earlier. Now, we're gonna go ahead and call 4 of these friends, because 4 of them were, well associates of Kara and me. We're gonna call there was 1 girl and 3 guys. We're gonna call the girl Destiny. The other one, I will call him by his real name, because I know him enough and I'm sure he would not have a problem whatsoever with me calling him by his real name, Caden. And then we have you guys who actually know him, you're gonna laugh at me. We're gonna call the other guy Gabriel, and the other guy, we're gonna call him Big M. Because that's what I would always call him, just Big M. First of all, Mr. Z, he was showing off some sort of assignment having to do with cloning, right? Had to do with cloning, and you know, Gabriel and Kara, if I'm correct, it was either Gabriel or Caden, but Gabriel and Kara had a similar, you know, mindset of cloning is a bad idea, and it's just, you know, the government trying to just, they're just doing too much, right? Now I can see where they're coming from when they say that, like voice crack. But but I opposed against that opinion. My opinion was the complete opposite, almost. Again, I could see where they're coming from, and I can agree. But at the same time, like, imagine the benefits it could, you know, create for humanity, right? Yes, I'm one of those people who doesn't support against cloning, but I don't support it either. I entertain the idea, but I don't entirely support it either. If that makes sense. If I'm wording that correctly. But yeah. And then, you know, Kara gave, you know, her response being like, "You're stupid. Why would you?" And I would, like, it was like a back and forth, and it was pretty funny. It was fun. It was a fun little assignment that Mr. Z gave us. He was just awesome. He was an awesome teacher. And I'm pretty sure he went to college for or majored in psychology as well. So yeah, he knew his stuff when it came to the human mind. So Kara and Caden definitely took advantage of that, because he also was one of those types of teachers that students would go to as like a, you know, as like that one person to go to and talk to and whatnot, like a trusted figure, you know, a trusted adult. He was one of those types of peeps, and he has some pretty good therapeutic skills. From what I've seen, I haven't seen too much, so that's why I'm saying pretty good. I'm not trying to lowball anything, but he was pretty good. And even I had a couple, you know, private conversations with him myself. But it was mainly, as far as I know, and as far as the people that I was associated with, it was mostly Kara and Caden that would always have private, you know, like conversations with him and whatnot. And by the way, a week prior to what I was saying earlier, that was like, I believe, a week like after she started going to Mr. Z's class, like during 8th period. The week prior to that, though, I could be getting my timing wrong. If she's somehow watching this, or if somebody else who knows her and is watching this, I'm sorry if I'm getting the timing wrong. We all know how bad my memory is, but I'm staying as accurate as I possibly can here. But a week prior, the first time I saw her face was, like, in detail. Like, I was able to fully inspect it, which that sounds pretty creepy when I say that out loud. But you know what I mean, when you just glance over at somebody and you're able to actually, you know, make out what they look like. she was in the cafeteria with my friend Big M. And, you know, she was putting her arm around him, kind of doing that kidding, kind of messing with you type thing. Like, I don't know what they were going on about, but, you know, from the looks of it, it was a pretty friendly, joking type situation, if I'm correct. But that was the first time I saw her face. Now, I'm gonna say this right now. A lot of people who have met her, or who have seen her, like, who have seen what she looks like, a lot of people don't think she looks the best face-wise. Everybody thinks that, you know, the only good thing physically about her is her body, but not her face. And I didn't really have a problem with it, personally. She, in my opinion, alright, this is a fairly popular opinion, but at the same time, I will, you know, say that it's my opinion. She has a very great body, a very fit body. In her face, I didn't really have a problem with it. It's not really something that really detracted me from her. If that is the correct phrasing to use. If not, you know what I mean. But I could get over her face. It didn't really mean anything to me. I still thought she was attractive, even face-wise. People say that I have too high of standards. People say that I have too low of standards. Sif being an example. But example as in... Oh god, I'm sounding like a dick. Example as in everybody else didn't think she was the best looking either, but not just facial wise, but also, you know, everything else. Now, even when I saw Kara's face for the first time, I was still attracted to her. Physically, that is. And one thing you need to know about me is, when it comes to feeling attracted to somebody, and this is me personally, this is not me wanting to give advice or anything, this is all me. When it comes to liking somebody, or finding interest or attraction to somebody, physical appearance comes first. Hear me out before you start, you know, typing away in the comments. Hear me out. When it comes to whether I want to date you or not, that's when the physical appearance comes into play. But, of course, once I find you attractive physically, I also want to get to know you. If you're cool, if you have a great personality, cool, great. Hey, win-win, you know? But say if you are attractive, you are like model beautiful, sexy as hell, but you have a shit personality, I'm not gonna want to date you. Hell no. If you have a great personality, you're a nice person, you're smart in your own way, you're just cool, but you don't look attractive, like, to my standards, my personal standards, then we can just be friends. I'm cool with just being friends with you. But, and I know that sounds like I'm being a dick, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you can agree with me that, okay, if you have like decent standards, you may not have too high of standards for men or women, and you may not have too low of standards. If the person isn't attractive to you, but they have a great personality, I'm pretty sure like 80% out of 100, you'd just rather be friends with them, right? Probably 70. I'm gonna go ahead and say 70 with confidence. but yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot, not everybody, obviously, I'm not generalizing this, but I'm pretty sure most of you can agree with me on that. So, I kind of got into a different subject a little bit, but you guys get the point now. Now, fast forward, I'd say like a few weeks or so, probably a month. Yeah, yes, exactly a month from when that whole like day when she was in our class during my 8th period and we were talking about cloning and whatnot. A whole month after that specific day was when me and Sif started to kind of shift, if that makes sense, if that's the right word to use. It was a month after that me and Sif, like, she wouldn't talk to me that much. She ignored plenty of my texts. She even blocked me like once or twice. I'm pretty sure it was just once, and played it off as like an accidental thing that her friends did. And like a month after that, okay, and by this point, keep in mind, me, like, we're on good terms at this point. We're talking, we're friends at this point. We know quite a bit about each other, and I'm pretty sure by this time I even got her number. Now, during the month after that event, by that time, that's when I was starting to grow a little bit of, more feelings were added. Like, I was feeling something more to this girl. Like, man, she's really something. She's fun, she's outgoing, she expresses herself, she cares, about her friends, it seems. But I still wasn't entirely there to the point where I was like, I really like this girl. Or, I didn't necessarily have a crush on her during that time yet. Now, fast forward another month. This is the second month. Me and Sif officially severed ties, meaning I severed ties with her. A couple days before then, I was in my 8th period class, Kara was there too, and we were watching a movie. I forgot what movie we were watching. I remember what type of movie it was. We read the book too, but I forgot the title. Kara comes over to me, starts talking to me, and she sits on my desk. Now, keep in mind, these desks are attached. I can just put a picture right there, you'll see. But she sat on my desk, and she's facing me. I'm sitting on my chair, like, that is attached to the desk, facing forward, and she's sitting on my desk facing me. You know what? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say it was a pretty interesting moment, and it is a moment I won't forget. But she chose to do that because she was not only conversating with me, but around that time, I think I was feeling sad about something. I don't remember what I was feeling sad by, but I was feeling sad about something. And she, after she sat on my desk, and, during this, as we're talking, I'm trying my best to respond and talk, with her, but I'm also keeping my head down, also trying not to face towards, her bottom half. But another reason why I won't forget this is she took my head in and she hugged me, right? My forehead and pretty much the top half of my head was making contact with her upper stomach. and, you know, I kind of lightly hugged her back with one of my arms. And it was a really nice moment. Yeah. Oh god, and this this is where we're officially moving into the parts where I feel most emotional about. In each of these stories, you may or may not hear some spurts of tears and sniffling, but may or may not. But I don't promise anything. But yeah. After that, it felt nice. It was really nice. It was also a bit interesting, but it felt nice. And after that, she, you know, got off my desk, and because we were all about to leave, it was the end of the day. I leave out of the class, and the next day, I bring this up to Sif, right? I bring this up to Sif, and me and Sif aren't dating at this point, but me and her are on talking terms, at least, as far as I thought. And I bring this up to her, and she's like, well, just don't let it get to your head, because I really doubt she likes you. And the only point I brought it up to her was just to let her know how out of the ordinary it felt for me. I wasn't trying to make her jealous or anything. I wasn't indicating anything like that. And she just out of nowhere just says some shit like that. I'm like, excuse me? I'm not even trying... What? Okay. But, yeah. Now, a couple days later, or a week later, around there, that's when, you know, for reasons that I will not disclose, but I'll probably explain like at a later date, probably like next year or something, I'll probably explain why I completely severed ties with Sif. But we're just gonna go ahead and say that a little bit after that event, I completely severed ties with Sif. Never talked to her ever again. And all I'm gonna say is the reason why I did, I felt really betrayed and heartbroken, and the reason why I did it was something that she did, and I found it out during my 8th period class. And I was really sad, and I really felt betrayed that she would do this. I'm sorry that I keep saying this but not saying what she did specifically. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to go ahead and say it right now. Sometime later, probably less than a year, I will say it later, just not now. But I go ahead and ask Mr. Z if I could go outside of the class, right? So I could, like, you know, take a breather and calm down. And, you know, a couple moments after, let's say like a minute and a half after I go outside of the class, Kara comes out of the class, because she noticed that, you know, that I was upset, and I went over to Mr. Z and asked him to leave the class. Asked him so that I could leave the class. And she went out, she was like, what's the matter? And I tell her why I'm upset, and she comes down and she hugs me, because I'm sitting down against the wall, like near my class, like near the door. She gets on her knees and she hugs me, like she pulls me in for a hug. And mind you, I was crying. I was tearing up. I was really hurt. I felt really betrayed. And she hugged me for like a solid minute and a half. I am positive it was either a minute or longer that she was hugging me. And I hugged her back, and I said to her, thank you. And she said, you're welcome. And, you know, after that, she went back in the class, and I told her that I'll be in a minute. And she's like, all right. And I, you know, and right after she closed the door, that's when it clicked in my head. I was like, you know, Nobody else has ever done that for me. Not even family, not one of my closest friends. Only one of my friends has ever done anything like that to me, or for me. And that was like a long time ago in middle school. So, I came to the conclusion that, you know, she clearly cares. She's a very nice person, and that's when a literal attraction to her occurred. Like, I felt like I really liked her at that point. Like, this is the one type of thing, you know? But yeah. Now, fast forward a week, literally, because during said week, two of my friends that I told that I had a massive crush on Kara after that. And they were like, dude, she's clearly open to it. Dude, she is giving you signs. And I'm like, I know, but I still, like, but she does that with everybody else. Like, she's a very physical person, as in she's very touchy and all that. Not in an inappropriate sense, but she is huggy, she's very friendly, and she's outgoing like that. And the things that she would do for me, she'd also do for everybody else. So that would conflict with my thought process of, well, she may or may not, you know, feel that way for me as well. And everybody else was telling me that, you know, she's clearly giving me signs, and you never know unless you try. So, it was either on Friday or on Monday. We were walking together, right? And I believe I was walking... Yes, I was walking to my 6th period class, which was Hope. Hope is pretty much a combination of gym and health. I was walking with her to her class, but her class was pretty much like on the way to my class, more or less. And, you know, right then and there, like in the hallway, I was like, hey, everything that you're doing and have been doing, does it mean anything? And real quickly, she seemed a bit nervous too. Like, real quickly she responded with no, you know, kind of doing that thing with her eyes, like looking left and right, like no. And, you know, even though she said no, I was like, oh boy, but come on, even though she said no, just say it anyway, just let it out. And so I told her I might like you. And then, you know, she stood in silence for like a second. She tilted her head and had a smirk on her face, which was like, really? Like an oh really type of face. And then she grabbed me by my wrist or my hand, I don't know, and then we decided to walk a bit more than we should have. I believe we were both kind of late for our classes, like a few minutes late. But we walked around the building a little bit more. And, you know, I didn't want to try anything right off the bat. So even though she was holding on to, you know, to my hand, I didn't want to try to make it look like we were, you know, a thing already, like right then and there. So, you know, I didn't pull away or anything, but I didn't want to, like, put my arm around her. I didn't want to, like, hold on too tightly to her hand, you know, so I don't give the wrong idea, because it's too sudden, you know what I mean? So we walk around, and, you know, a lot of things are racing through my mind. Like, oh my god, okay, is she like trying to come up with a decision herself? Or did she already make up her mind or whatever? Like, and I even asked her a few times during our little walk. I'm like, you know, if it isn't the right time, or if you don't want to do it, or if you're trying to, you know, focus on school, that's fine. You know, I won't complain. It's okay. And she's like, I know. You know, that was my, you know, primary objective here. And I was like, well, all right. And we kept walking. And we now, when we were done with our walk, we stopped next to the entrance of the stairwell in that building. And, you know, after we stopped, you know, she got in front of me, and she went in for, you know, a kiss. And then I responded with what had to be the most embarrassing and cringiest kiss of my life. I cannot believe that happened. Okay, so here's what was going on in my head, alright? She went in for a kiss, but I was kind of looking to the side, like I wasn't making eye contact with her right then and there, because I was still nervous and a lot of things were still going through my head. Now, I guess she tried to, you know, go for a kiss on my cheek, and, you know, I thought I saw her move her head, so she wanted to, like, aim for my lips, so I turned my head and I tried to go in for a kiss, but then I think this is where she kind of started to get a little bit nervous, or, you know, misread my body language as well. Because then she still tries to go for the cheek, her previous, you know, target. But then she tries to go for my lips as well, and then I saw that she was still trying to go for my cheek when I turned and went to go for the lips. So then I turned away again, and then and then when we made contact, it was very awkward and weird. But yeah. After that, as soon as we parted and we went to our classes, I immediately sent her a text saying, okay, I know that seemed very bad and awkward, but I can assure you I am a way better kisser than that. And she's like, okay, we'll see, or, you know, something along those lines. Because this was still technically during the school day. Now, at the end of the day, when we met up, because I believe we were in Mr. Z's, I decided to go to my bus early, because I rode buses around this time, and she decided to follow behind. We kissed, and it was amazing. It was great. It was a very Disney-esque worthy kiss. Now, this was like during the beginning of March, somewhere around there. We didn't make it official like for the next like 20 or so days during March. We pretty much said to everybody who even questioned us about it, oh, we're just testing the waters. Because we really were testing the waters. I didn't want to rush in too early like I did with Sif. I didn't want to be stupid again. And mind you, I knew Kara before we started dating for a total of like 2.5 months. And I only started being friends with her a month and a half before we started dating. Now, to be fair, that is still kinda short amount of time. But to be fair, that is a lot more better than just 3 weeks and then, hey, you want a date? Sure, okay. You know what I mean? So yeah. We didn't make it official for about 20 plus days during March, but at some point I decided to finally ask her out officially, and we started dating. And the process with us starting to date was pretty fun. It was funny as well. But yeah, that's when we started dating. And that's where I'm going to leave this off. The second one is going to be, you know, pretty much like the first half of the relationship, which is more or less the good parts of our relationship. And the third is going to be me talking about the second half of our relationship, from it going downhill to us eventually breaking up. So, yeah. If I accidentally said her actual name, I'm probably gonna cut it out. so yeah. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. And peace.